Oh, yeah, boys and girls, it's the podcast. Oh, we're back. It's Monday, baby. It's Monday, February 15th, 2021. It is snowing outside. And let me just tell you from a standpoint, great weekend, minus the fact that we didn't have football. Great weekend. Let's go ahead and switch it over here. We're trying a new lighting setup. Basically what I did is I put my camera facing my window. I opened up the natural light. Seems to actually be doing a pretty good job. I'm pretty impressed with it, but I think that's partially because it's snowing outside right now. It's President's Day, so we got off, which is, kind of weird. I never got a President's Day off in school ever, so this is kind of crazy. But it's obviously snowing. I think we wouldn't have had school even if it was President's Day or it wasn't. It's been snowing a lot, honestly, and I would say since almost last Monday, it's been kind of there hasn't been a day where there hasn't been like some type of slush or snow or something like that going on down here. I think since Friday for sure, I think it's been snowing. I'm not exactly sure, or Saturday. It was one of those 2 days, but it hasn't been a whole lot. It is funny because I was talking to somebody earlier in the year. I was like, well, how much does it snow? Because I said I'd be really curious to see how this place looks when it snows outside. And they said, oh, it barely ever snows, and if it does, you get maybe not even an inch. So I was kind of a little bit disappointed, but I mean, it is just constantly back to back to back. I think it's a little bit like a winter storm deal. It's supposed to snow Wednesday too, and I think looking at my Weather Channel app, Friday. I think maybe Friday. I don't know. Don't really memorize that stuff. Not that I don't care, but I don't really memorize it. I just don't care to. Weather is what it is. If I want to know the weather, I'm gonna go look outside and see what it's doing. So it's just one of the things that, not a big weather guy. When I said this was probably one of the coolest weekends that I've had since I've been in college, I'm telling you right now, I'm not lying. Everything kind of sucks right now because of COVID, and I think we're starting to get to the point where hopefully, we got NFL stadiums opening up for COVID vaccination places to help get more vaccinations everywhere, which is awesome by the NFL to do something as amazing as that. And hopefully it will get us out of this pandemic. I think we're starting to hit the end. I think definitely by the summer, I think we'll be fine. I'll move my phone so that way it doesn't keep buzzing like that. I hope we get to that point in the summer at least where, we're finally done. Maybe some people are still wearing masks, but they're not mandated and other things along those lines. But I think we're starting to finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think we're starting to see more and more people kind of get vaccinations, get what they need to do. You see people wearing masks, but because of COVID, everything here has been kind of, you're either stuck in your dorm. I mean, obviously, it's been awesome to be able to work out because that's something that they could have said, listen, we're not going to do. We don't have to have the gym open, but they've done a great job with handling that. But I mean, most of the time, unless you really have friends or you meet friends down here, there's a couple places you go. You're in your dorm, you go to class, you go to the gym, maybe you go get something to eat at the dining hall. Maybe sometimes you hang out with friends, you go and do something. But like I said, COVID makes it very hard to do that. So, first, I think it was almost a month ago that I had went to this place. It's a club down here in Springfield. It's very notorious. A lot of people go to it. They have their college nights and stuff like that where you get in half price. Some nights you get in free. And, we had went there the first time, me, my roommate, and my friend Ava. Me and Maury and Ava went, and, it wasn't really fun the first time. I think, at least for me, I'm speaking on behalf of myself, I didn't really have a lot of fun. I wasn't really, letting loose. I was trying to figure out, what you really do. It would be my first time ever going to a club, and I hate to call out my friends in such a way, but I've been trying to convince them, let's do something like that since we had turned 18. and they just didn't really want to do it. So I was just gonna sit there and be like, so we can do whatever you want to do. But so we go in there for the first time, and I mean, this place is loud. Like, you can hear the music no matter where you are. It really doesn't get any quieter. It's jam-packed. There's people everywhere. You got people on the dance floor. And I guess there's, like, a certain song. Like, they play the same songs almost every time. So, like, there's a certain dance to go with every single song. And you're sitting there, like, the first couple times we were trying to figure it out. And then I basically just gave up and said, nah, I'm not doing this. And it was partially because I was just, for some reason, the extroverted person I am, just couldn't, like, figure out, like, in a setting like that. So we get back. We were like, wow, that was an experience. This next time we go, definitely a lot more loose. Definitely having a little bit better of a time. Let me tell you what, I was all over the place. I was all over the dance floor. I'm hitting the boot, scooting boogie. This time I went with the first time I went, I didn't wear any boots. This time I did. So I felt a little more, I feel like I felt it a little bit better, and it was a little bit more fun. But I mean, like, it's really cool because, a lot of people, just have a lot of fun at those things, and I think that's where you could collectively see a group of people just having a lot of fun and coming out together on a Friday night. I think it was Friday. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was Friday because that's when I turned in my exam, and I was so happy. And I was like, we got to do something tonight. I feel really confident about it. I haven't got the grade back on it, and I don't want to look at it. But anyway, we're going there. We're having a great time. This time, my roommate Mari, Ava, and then her two friends, Abby and Amir. I just realized this. All four of them, their names start with the same letter. Who's the oddball out? Garrett's the oddball out. Why? Because it's G-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A, and then you can add an RP for fun. Okay? God, I just get so off topic sometimes. It's hilarious. But I guess this is what I love about this whole podcasting thing. You can kind of say whatever you want to say. It's live, so everybody can see it, and they can just see your mistakes and kind of laugh at it. But, no, for real, we're having a good time. And we're going outside because we're getting so sweaty, because it reached like 100 degrees multiple times on the dance floor. That stuff happens when you crowd like a bunch of people into a very cramped area and they are just exercising. I mean, that's the best way of what you would call dancing is like some form of exercise. So then you go outside and you're drenched in sweat and you cool down because it's like -1 degrees out. So you cool down rapidly, your hair gets frozen, and then you walk back in. And it was fun because I was dancing. I was dancing with a lot of people. I was dancing with some girls. I was dancing. I did the worm at one point, like they had made a giant circle, and I tapped the dude on the shoulder. I said, "Dude, let me do the worm." And he's like, "Okay." I don't know if he heard me do the worm or not. So I get down. I started doing the worm, and I don't know if it was very good. I don't think it's good. If it was good, I don't think it'd be as entertaining as if it were bad, because I mean, just find it hilarious. And so that happened. And at one point during the night, like, I'm talking with these guys, and they're so, like, you get to meet some dudes that are like chilling, down to earth. There's people everywhere that's like willing to just sit there and talk no matter. It's really weird. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but it's just everybody's having a fun time. And I was sitting out there and I was talking to this one guy, and he said, "Dude, are those your friends over there?" And I was like, I don't know if they're my friends or not, because at this point I had no clue what was going on. And I walk up to him and I said, "Hey, what is up? My name is G Money." And they both look at each other. These two girls look at each other and like, what in the world is going on? Like, who is this dude? And I said, "Hey, my name's G Money." And then they look at each other for a couple seconds. She's like, "Oh, my name's K Money." And the other one was like, "My name's Money Money." I'm like, "Oh, dang, you OG." And I talked to them for probably about 15, 20 minutes. And then I think at one point I was dancing with them and met them. There was some dudes playing cup pong over behind us at the table we were sitting at. They were sitting behind us, and I would go over there and hype those guys up. I was like, yeah, dude, you got this, man. I was like, you're going to nail this first shot, dude. Sets back, fades it just like Curry, nails a shot, and I'm like, woo! You know, I'm just sitting there that entire night, and I'm going, woo, it's so much fun. And I bet you, I mean, I definitely was not ready for that place to close. And we're getting into the highlights now, okay? We're starting to get to the highlights. But when that place closed, I was not ready, okay? So I'm just saying this, and I'm just saying it, I'm putting it out there because I feel like nobody's actually going to watch this. And so at one point, we were dancing like it was all of us in a group, and then there's like another girl who I didn't know, and then these other two came over that we had talked to earlier the night, and then there's these two guys that I met from, I don't know where they said they were from. I was a little bit confused on that, and you know, they said they were from Texas, but then they said they moved to this place in Missouri. Man, it's cold, man. I'm telling you, I'm sitting in front of this window and it's closed and I'm cold. So we were all dancing, and there's this girl. I mean, she is short. I mean, she is super short, and she's like, she's decently attractive, and you know, we're sitting there, we're dancing, and after that was over, Ava was telling me, she's like, yeah, I just got an Uber. She said they'll be there in about 20-25 minutes. I was like, I got 20 minutes to just freaking party the night away. And so that after we had kind of broke up, and I think Ava and them went back to the table, and I was continuous. No, they were still there. I just noticed that girl was dancing by herself. So of course I was like, you know what, I talked to her earlier, and I was like, okay, you know, like, let's dance. And she starts throwing it back, and you know, Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. I hope you never have to watch this. I don't think you ever will. If my family ever watches this, you know, just skip this part. Maybe I should do that. But she's throwing it back on me, and I mean, I'm telling you right now, definitely a very fun time, man. You know, she's throwing it back. We're dancing to this one song. I can't even tell you what it is. If I heard it, I could probably say that is it. And then after it's over, she's like grabbing me, like feeling my arms stuff. She's like, ooh, and I was like, yeah. And she's like, I'm gonna go outside for a minute, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with you because I am like totally sweating. And you know, we head outside, and I took my jacket with me because I was actually starting to get cold, going in and out all night. And so I wrapped it around her, and she's like, thank you, you're such a gentleman. I was like, you know, we get to talking and stuff like that, and she was like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 19. I said, what about you? She said she drops a 25 bomb on me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wow, you do not look 25. But, you know, you knew she wasn't lying because, like, there's a difference. If you're under 21, you get written CR on your hands. If you're not, you get a wristband. So she definitely had the wristband on, so she was definitely over the age of 21, so I was definitely believing her, and we're sitting there, and I don't know how it happens, and, you know, maybe this is not a good story to tell in today's day and age, but we're sitting there talking, and we're kind of flirting a little bit, and I was like, you know, I've been told I'm a really great kisser. She said, oh, really? And she hits me with that, and then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, you can, we can try it, and you can rape me if you want. She said, what, rape you? I'm like, no, not that. She misunderstood me. So I was like, okay. So, of course, start making out. Okay, things are going good. And then Ava tugged me on the shoulder and said, not to break up your makeout sesh, but she said, our Uber's almost here in like 5 minutes. So, of course, I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'll be like, see you later. Hopefully I'll catch you around here again. And she's like, she's like, oh, yeah, for sure. So I walk off, and that was basically the highlight of the night. I don't know how it happened. It just did. And so I'm sitting there in the cold, my jacket on. Some Irish dude starts talking to me. Really nice guy. Couldn't find a ride, and unfortunately for him, we had ordered an Uber, or else I said I would have been like, dude, you can come with us. And you know, he wasn't really leading me. He was like, dude, come on, you gotta know somebody. I was like, dude, I don't know anybody. I said, I know my roommate, I know my friend Ava, and I know her roommate and her friend. And I said, other than that, I know a couple people. But I said, dude, I don't know anybody that could give you a ride. And he's sitting there begging. Eventually, at some point, he goes running off back inside to the club, and I'm like, thank goodness. And we're sitting out there. I think they went back inside. I don't know, but I was sitting out there. Finally, we get to the Uber and go back home. And at that point, I was exhausted. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go home. I'm going to pass out on the bed. You know, and overall, that's why I would say it was a very productive weekend. Got all my homework done and stuff like that. But I mean, like, for the first time since I'd been here, I really felt like I had the most fun. That was definitely the most fun I've had since I've been down here. And unfortunately, it could have been nights like that. Earlier if it hadn't been, for, COVID and stuff like that. And I think you come to realize, like, nights like that, like, sometimes it's just nice to meet people and talk to different people. And, definitely just to see a bunch of people coming along and having a good time and all those all that type of stuff. It's really fun, and it's just exhilarating, and I definitely had a fun time. So it's definitely and every time you could go and there could be a totally different outcome. Like, next time I could go and it could totally suck. You know what I mean? Like, I could just not have a fun time at all. But I think that's part of the fun, and it is just having a good time, and it was really fun. So that was definitely the highlight of my weekend. With it snowing and stuff like that, dude, it's cold. I found out the other night that I guess, because I don't pay attention, I guess I could be so oblivious to something so obvious. And I guess that our dining halls, our main one that we go to, is closed. And I didn't know. I had no clue. I thought it was open at least. No, it's closed. It was closed for basically the entire weekend. They even closed the freaking Subway. And I was like, dude, I could really go for some Subway. Fortunately enough for me, the place was locked down, so couldn't get any Subway. I got lucky enough to order a Papa John's pizza. And then the next night we went to the other dining hall that's open until later and stuff like that. But, yeah, I found that one out the hard way. I guess they close for stuff like that. I don't know. There was no point to saying what I just did. That was kind of dumb. I guess that was my phone that fell. I don't know. I guess my phone fell. So yeah, oblivious. That's we're at 17 minutes right now. I just took a look down. I think part of moving into this week, I'm trying to figure out new things that I can do. It's tough because, like I said, it's snowing. So a lot of the plans I wanted to do, I can't do because it's snowing. There's a good chance that I'm stuck inside my dorm for maybe this entire week, meaning, like, yeah, I go to the gym, or maybe I get lucky enough to go to class, but I feel like most of the time I'm going to be in here. Definitely not going to be driving anywhere. So with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap things up right here. Not a lot to talk about. I just thought that story was so interesting. I felt like it needed to be shared. Maybe in a couple of years I get in trouble and like, I don't know, but so we'll wrap things up here. I'm sorry. I don't feel like I should have came in a little bit more prepared. I feel like I should have, but it's one of those days. It's a snow day, man. You just gotta learn to relax and go on the fly. All being said, man, be safe. Know the conditions. Everything's getting hit right now with bad weather. Unless you're living in Florida or unless you're living in California, I looked at the weather map on CNN yesterday, and they showed like this huge, accumulation of like winter fronts just hitting everywhere, and everywhere's cold. Everywhere was below 50 that I was aware of. Even some of the places that you wouldn't think are. Texas is even getting hit with ice storms. So, whoever decides to watch this, please be safe when you're driving. It's a huge responsibility because it's not about you, it's about everybody else on the road. And I've seen certain circumstances over this past year, couple years, whatever you want to call it. Listen, you guys just got to be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Know the conditions. And if you do have to drive for whatever reason, know your limitations. And please be safe. My name is Garrett Sims. This has been the podcast. And I am about to go whoop some butt in Madden. Hear that, Hank? I'm coming for you. I'm beating